Okay, let's do that over. Good morning or good evening, everyone. This is Tanya Sheldon from Meridian, Idaho, and I am so grateful to have you all here tonight. I'm so excited about the fact that you get to tune in and hear from our amazing presenter tonight. And I'm so honored that I get to be the one to introduce him to all of you. Rich Scott is someone that I personally sponsored into the company that you're going to hear about tonight called LifeVantage. And he is a friend. He's like a brother to me. And I believe so much in this man. And I have adored being able to be a part of his journey. And I have to tell you, this company is all about the people. The journey of network marketing is all about the people. And what happens most of the time is when you choose to say yes, you're going to find that the person that brings you in, they're going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself in the beginning. And sometimes they're going to believe in you a lot longer than you believe in yourself in the beginning. And Rich Scott is one of those men that I believe in with all my heart. He is going to change a lot of lives. He already has. And my hope is that he changes yours tonight through his story. So with that, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our speaker. Rich Scott has been a fitness professional for over 15 years, including being the district manager of Gold's Gym International, the largest gym chain in the world. Rich explains that he has a moral obligation to help people become the best version of themselves. Rich has a real scientific approach to personal training. And over the years, Rich has been pitched hundreds of products while being in the gym industry, which earned him the title of the Network Marketing Antichrist. He'll tell you more about that, I'm sure. Tonight, he's going to explain why he's so passionate about LifeVantage and why he recommends this technology to all of his clients. You're in for such a treat. Rich, I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of this with you. I'm so proud of you for being a part of this and sharing this tonight, and I can't wait to hear you.
Well, thank you, Tanya. Looking at the lineup of the calls that we've had over the last week or so, I am in amazing company and amazing leaders. This morning we got to hear from Dr. Nettles, and it was awesome. You're right. This business really is about relationships and stuff, and many of us would have never been introduced to this company if it wasn't because of a relationship that we had. Like Tanya said, I've been in the industry for a long time, and a lot of people would pitch me products, but there was no relationship. So 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't listen to them because they didn't have really my best interest at heart. They were just pitching me. But you're all on this call for a reason, and I want to share my screen with you. I'm kind of a technology nerd, and I like for people to look at stuff. So I'm going to share this. Let's see, share screen. Share PowerPoint. There we go. All right, can we see that, Tanya?
We got it.
All right, well, no pun intended, but something I really want to share with you guys, I honestly believe is monumental. We all have a story. You guys are on this call. I mean, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story, but really at the end of the day, you have a story. You're living your life, and there's things that you want out of life, and I was no different than you. These are just some pictures of the people in my life, my beautiful wife and daughter. I have my son in this business now, and going through life, you just want the best life possible. You want more time freedom. And so when I was in the industry of fitness, like she said, 15 years, I actually stopped counting at 15 because when you start getting older, you don't want to count beyond 15. But for many years, I've been in the fitness industry, and yes, a lot of people have brought me products, and they were very passionate about those products, and as they should be. You should be sharing things that you're passionate about. But for me, as a fitness professional, I had to think about the members in my gym, and at one point, I had 9,000 members just at one location. And so I couldn't just endorse anything. I had to basically do the research. And so I used to go to a website, pubmed.gov. And for those of you who are on this call, on this Zoom, hopefully you've already watched the ABC Primetime, because that is third-party credibility. And PubMed.gov is a third party. It's the largest repository for science data. So as a fitness professional, I didn't want to just look at my member and say, oh, I don't want to sell your stuff here, because they paid dues, right? But then again, because they were passionate, I couldn't just take their product and tell 9,000 people we decided to sell it, because they were passionate, because I would upset somebody. I would always upset somebody if I said yes to one and no to another. So I just said no to everyone. And that is how I got the name, the Network Marketing Antichrist. I honestly believed it wasn't a really viable way, because if it was so good, why are you telling me about the product? I mean, last week, weren't you selling candles? Or the week before, you were selling something else? And so you could see my dilemma. I didn't want to look at the stuff because of the source. And so when I went to PubMed, everything changed. And for me, my scientific approach to fitness is crucial, because, I mean, you guys know this. In January, who wants to get in shape? Everybody does, right? But where are those people come May? They're usually not in the gym. And so everybody starts with passion, but the problem is they don't stick with it. And so, long story short, my journey led me to an interesting place. As I began to look into the science, it pulled me in. But it wasn't the science that kept me in it, to be honest with you. It was relationships. So before I get into any of that stuff, I just want to really kind of give you a couple of pointers to think about for yourself. Do you really care about your health? I mean, all of us will say that we do, but honestly, usually something bad has to happen in order for somebody to make a change. Michelle Poe in our organization, she went and seen Anthony Robbins. And if you don't know who he is, he wrote the book, Awaken the Giant Within. But he said something very powerful. He said, people make decisions based on two things, two guiding principles. And this works really well in fitness, because a lot of people start out very passionate. And those two things are to gain pleasure or to avoid pain. And if you think about anything you've ever done in life, it can be probably narrowed down to those two guiding principles. And so when I sit down with the people for fitness, I usually ask them that question. And here's the thing, people will run away from pain faster than they will run towards pleasure. And so when I ask you, do you really care about your health? The question is, are you proactively caring about it? Now, many of us aren't. And here's the thing I want to share with you. This is my sister, Delina. Just a little less than 3 months ago, we buried her because of cancer. Now, here's the thing. She didn't wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, last night I got breast cancer. It's a perpetual problem. It's something that sneaks up on you. And there's some stuff I'm really going to share, and I'm not going to try to cry on this. But, guys, if you have people in your life that you love and care about, what would you give if you could have more time with them? You'd give anything. And for me, my sister was an amazing part of my life, and I would give anything to have her back in my life. And so when I say I have a moral obligation, I really truly mean that. It's not just saying that because it sounds cool. Think about yourself. And I say this a lot all the time when I do a presentation, but if you were in the busiest part of town and you looked to the corner of your eye and you saw someone, a small child, about to step off into the street, would you look over and, knowing that that child was going to get run over, would say, well, that's not my child. Why should I worry about it? You wouldn't. Anybody on this call, any human being, would basically have this innate instinct to run and save that child, even if it meant their own harm. And so in the fitness business, I honestly believe I have that moral obligation, because all kinds of diseases come from lack of being proactive. And so when I looked at this, it was the science that pulled me in, and I'll tell you a little bit more in a minute, but it's not what kept me in. But let me ask you this, how many people you know in your life that could have longer life or be more healthy? So for me, when somebody brought me this business, this is what got me, this ABC Primetime Investigation. And if you have not seen it, you must see it, because this is not some ad piece. It's an investigation. Now, I'm kind of one of those weird people. I like to see investigations because get the bad guy, right? He's heading to the car. He's covering his face with a briefcase screaming, no comment. Let's get the bad guy, right? This is how this should have gone if it wasn't real. So if you haven't watched it, you must watch it, because this man right here in the video is really what made me start digging in. And so what I would do is, if you're looking at this opportunity, this company, whether it be for the product or for the opportunity that will present itself as you begin to dig deeper into it, you need to understand something. The very beginning of the video, if you saw it, you will remember it said a world-renowned scientist. That got my attention because I didn't know who this man was, but he won a little thing called the Elliott Crescent Medal. I still didn't know what it was. I mean, it looks like a pretty cool coin, but here's what I found out as I dug into it. There's other winners, people like Alexander Graham Bell, Orville Wright, and Henry Ford. Now, the thing I love about Henry Ford is that Henry Ford did not invent the automobile, but he did invent a way to mass produce it. And here's a quote from Henry Ford. He said, "If I would have asked the people what they wanted, you know what they would have said? Give us faster horses." Because that's all the people could think about at that time. They had no idea that there was something more. And so as I began to dig into this, I became impressed, very impressed. Now, Dr. McCord won this medal. You can see right here from here. In 1997, he was the last recipient of that medal. And here's what we found out, that oxidative stress is linked to hundreds of diseases, like the disease that my sister just recently passed from, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, all of those things. And free radical damage is that main link in there. Now, here's the thing from a fitness perspective. When you get on that treadmill trying to lose that body fat, you're accelerating this process even more. And so I knew that my clients needed recovery, but I didn't know that there was a good way to do that until I watched that ABC investigation and began to dig into it. Now, I'll tell you right here, right now, the products that LifeVantage makes are not pharmaceutical drugs, so they can't cure, treat, or mitigate disease. But here's what I would ask you, is if you could lower your oxidative stress by 40% in just 30 days, would that be a good thing? It definitely would be. And so that is exactly what this product does. And here's what I want you to remember. If you don't remember anything tonight, remember I am talking about a technology, because Henry Ford capitalized on a technology and forever changed transportation. You can't go anywhere on a horse and buggy these days. Try to travel down the freeway doing that. That's not going to work, right? So this technology that I want you to think about is called NRF2. This is a paper that was done by Washington State. And you can see, if you can't see it, I'll read it for you. It says, "We may be on the verge of new literature of health effects, NRF2, which may very well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine." That, ladies and gentlemen, is not some small thing. The history of medicine. So this is why I am so impressed with this company and where they're going, because they're on a cutting edge thing. Now, all of you guys right now are using technology. Either you're watching or you're listening to me through probably a smartphone or a computer. My first cell phone was a Motorola. It was $900.34 a minute just to use. And I won't tell you, but it was around the 90s when I got that darn phone. But I was made fun of because they thought I was carrying a purse or something like that back then. But here's the thing. If you were me and you knew for a fact that the phones were going to evolve, here's my question for you. Would you just use the technology, or would you invested in it knowing what was about to happen? Of course, anybody who took the time would think about it, would say, I would invest in that technology because you have something called hindsight. Now, it takes people to have foresight. And so this is what I began to see. I said, listen, if this truly is real, this could change my clients. This could change my life. And this could change the lives of the people that I love and care about. And so that moral obligation to help people started kicking in. Like, I have to share this with people. And from there, it became an opportunity from financially. So this is just a few pictures of my clients. We have a program at our gym now called Rapid Results, powered by nutrigenomics. If you have not heard that term, nutrigenomics just means Nutra stands for food, nutrition, and genomics means your genome. How does food change your body, change the way your body heals, change the way your body takes care of those free radicals? And so that is what LifeVantage is on, the forefront of nutrigenomics. And once my clients even remotely understand about it, why would they not do it? And so I'm having huge success with clients, not just in recovery, but actually muscle gain, things like that. I'm going to just briefly tell you this because this is pretty powerful. How many of you on this Zoom call have ever worked out? Well, your body has to produce energy, and one of the things it needs is an enzyme called glutathione, and glutathione must be present in the Krebs cycle to produce ATP. Now, I know I'm talking science, but we already warned you that I am a big person on science. And the reason why that's important that you should know that is because there is glutathione supplements on the market. I mean, you can buy it. These are pictures of supplements. And by the way, the one on the far right is $87. Now, that product is an old technology. I told you I'm going to keep saying that a lot because this is basically the delivery mechanism. It's like a baseball throwing it at a chain link fence. If you had a baseball in your hand, even if you had a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, you're not going to get very many of them through the fence. Most of them are going to end up in the front of the fence, right? So that's the current technology, delivering supplements to the body, hoping the body will pull them in and utilize them. And here's the thing. If you don't think this is a big deal, let me ask you this. Do you think Google is a big deal? Because Google just did this on the cover of Time magazine. And for those who are watching this Zoom, I'm gonna zoom into it. It says, Google, the search giant, is launching a new venture to extend human lifespan. And it says underneath, it said, that would be crazy if it wasn't Google. Let's just be honest. If Google's going to do something, they're going to get a rate of return on their money. Just checking time so I don't go too far. So let me show you who they are. Google started a company, or they're basically the backer of a company called Calico. Calico is in Southern California, and Calico stands for California Life Company. They're tackling aging, one of life's greatest mystery, and I highlighted basically the part to help people lead longer and healthier lives. That is the sole mission of Calico. Now, if you don't think they invested a lot, look down here and below. It says Google has already announced that they've invested $1.5 billion, and that is with a B, $billion in the research of this. So what does that tell you? It tells you that there's an investment that they're making in something that they believe that's going to give them a rate of return. So I want to talk to you about a trend that I think is crucial. Now, I told you that I have a moral obligation to do that, and I do to help people. But how awesome it is if there's a trend for it and it can create an amazing opportunity. I'm about to explain that to you. This guy, his name's Paul Zane Pilzer. He's a world economist. He's spoken to presidents. And he wrote a book called The Wellness Revolution, or The Next Trillion, and that is with a T. Why is this important? Why are people looking for opportunity? Well, here's the reason. 3 out of 4 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. How many of you on this call have more months at the end of your money? I know I do many times, and I definitely would like to have more. 80% of Americans are 90 days away from bankruptcy. Baby boomers, they're spending billions to look better and feel better. How many of you on this call want to sign up for the Get Sicker Faster, Age Quicker program? I mean, nobody does. Nobody does. We all want to live longer and better. And so, you know, millennials are looking for opportunity because the opportunities that their parents have doesn't exist. Go try to work for a company for 20 years. It doesn't work. Women love this statistic. 82% of women who make more than $100,000 a year did so in an industry called network marketing, which, by the way, last year did $190+ billion. So this is a trend that's coming. People want to look better. They want to feel better. Nobody wants to age faster. And there's a trend for it that's coming. So how do we know this trend's working? Well, a little company called Walmart, they're huge. Well, they shut down last year over 269 stores. There's something coming. There's a shift coming, which gives LifeVantage a unique opportunity. This is another clip that I got from Business Insider. More than 3,500 malls are closing down. And to the right, you can see the list of them. Companies like JCPenney's, Macy's, Kmart, on it goes. Malls are closing down because the anchor stores on the side are what keep the mall going. And when an anchor store goes down, the little stores in the middle can't survive without an anchor store. Anybody ever heard of the company called Amazon? Think they're a big deal? They are a big deal because they do more business than most huge companies. Sorry, getting a drink. How many of you guys remember a company called Blockbuster Video? Did you know that they had a chance to buy Netflix and they passed on it thinking, Netflix, it's a fad, it's going to go away? Well, who's around, Netflix or Blockbuster? We know the answer to that. So what is going on with a company like Uber? How many of you ever think about this? How many of you have ever been in Uber or know of the company called Uber? Well, when they first started, it was kind of new. But did you know in 6 years, they're worth more than Ford Motor Company, doing 1 million rides per day? So why am I taking all the time to talk about this when we're talking about a biotechnology? Because the industry is changing on how delivery is done. The industry is moving to a direct-to-consumer market. Now, if you were in school, you probably learned about the Industrial Revolution. What happened when a tractor could do the work of 100 guys? Well, the production did not go down. Unemployment, in a sense, went up because those 99 or so guys had to go get a job somewhere else. This is what's changing. Business is still moving, but the demand for people to do the job is different now. And so Uber is replacing taxi companies. I love this picture. This is a Starbucks machine. All you got to do is put the quarters in or whatever, or pay with your quarters, your credit card, and it'll make a machine or make a Starbucks for you. You know, recently in Oregon, people were demanding $15 an hour. Well, what was McDonald's answer to that? We're going to create, and say it with me, a technology to change the way we deliver our products. And that's exactly what they did. Now you can order, pay here, and just walk up to the thing and get your food. You see anybody seeing a trend here? Maids actually are going to be paid based on performance, not by the hour. The gym industry gets 80% of its business from members referring their friends. So why not pay them to do the job? So if you don't believe me, I encourage you to watch this film. It's called The Rise of the Entrepreneur. If you go to YouTube, you can probably find it very quickly. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick because here's what I want you guys to know. There's a radical shift coming, and this documentary talks a little about it. So timing is vital. LifeVantage utilizes a person-to-person or direct-to-consumer model called network marketing. And the Direct Selling Association says if you can be a part of a company that has less than 135,000 distributors, it is considered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So get with the person because they'll tell you how we went from $3.5 million to over $200 million. And because of this breakthrough technology, we are poised to be a billion-dollar company in the next 3 to 5 years. So my question for you is, if you see this, how would you like to capture that part of that $800 million growth? All companies go through what's called an adoption curve. And so talk to the person who invited you on this call. They'll tell you how LifeVantage is poised to go through that growth spurt. And that's coming really, really quickly. So long story short, I'm going to fast forward through a couple of these because my time's going by quickly. Here's what I want to end with. Remember when I said Google is trying to solve the death equation or basically get human life? This is what gets me totally jacked up about not just helping people, but before my family, my wife and daughter. My daughter's never going to be 10 years old again. What if I could dig my well now before I'm thirsty and be able to create the time freedom that I want to be able to spend with my family? What about you? Do you have a plan B? Because Google is creating something, or they're working on something that they believe is going to radically change the world. Well, guess what? Just recently, LifeVantage was part of the National Institutes of Aging study, and they confirmed that Protandim, the Nerf 2 synergizer, extends lifespan. So here's the thing, as I end this call with this last slide, this is a picture of Thomas Edison. We all know that he invented the light bulb, but very few know how many times he, quote, failed by doing it. And here's what he said: I didn't find hundreds and thousands of ways to fail. I found ways that, that didn't work. Here's basically where you are. You have this technology in one hand, and you have the old way of doing it in the other hand. You can't unlearn what you've learned. So what I would encourage you to do is think about Thomas Edison. You can't go anywhere in the world without looking up and seeing how he changed the world. Dr. McCord, LifeVantage, the Nerf2 pathway, it's not going away, you guys. So it lends to two things. Number one, ability to help people with their health. I would give anything to have my sister back for 5 more years. And there's people around you that you love. What if you could help them? And number two is, because we are helping people, it creates a very unique opportunity to create an income for yourself. And that's what I'm really excited about, is being able to help many people and at the same time be able to leave a legacy for my daughter and my family's family. So did I unshare the screen? Did that work?
It's still there. We still see your screen. That's okay.
Oh, there we go. Stop sharing screen. Okay, there we go. So thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this call. Here's what I would encourage you to do. Get back with the person that invited you to this Zoom. I promise you this. This is what I like to say at the end. Everybody deserves the right to say no. Just do the research. Because if Apple Computers would have called you and said, hey, we're going to revolutionize the world with the iPhone and the iPad, A, number one, that never happened to you. But B, if they did call you, you would have had to have the technical skill to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. The beauty of network marketing is it just rewards people who share the story, and LifeVantage has the best story out there, in my opinion.
You've got a pretty great story too, Rich. I'm so proud of you. That was amazing. You did so, so well. Take that in and receive it, because you truly did so, so well. This is going to be a great recording for people to share. As Rich said, make sure that you tune in and watch the ABC Investigative Report if you have not done so. Also, make sure the person that brought you onto this call, they're going to reach out and they're going to follow up with you. And do yourself a favor, pick up the phone, respond to the text, whatever works for you, and just let them know where you're at, and they can guide your decision accordingly. And as he said in the end, we have a system in this company, and the system we have is what you are watching right now. You get to share a gift with people, and if you know someone that is hurting financially, physically, with their weight, with their energy, their pet, then you know someone that could benefit from what we have. You just simply pull out a little gift, you show them the ABC report, and you get to plug them in to opportunity presentations just like this. And while they're watching from the courtesy of their home, you get to watch from the courtesy of your home. Isn't that such an amazing system? It's a simple, simple business. We just tend to complicate it a lot, and we get in our own way, and we just think it's too hard. But I tell you what, I can't imagine having the hard that I had working a job for someone else. That's hard, because I'm not in control. And with this, we are in complete control. So I thank you all for coming on tonight. Rich, I thank you so much for letting us just, your knowledge, your heart, everything that you gave to us tonight. Make sure that you share this with people that you know, and everyone have a great day. We will have 2 Zoom opportunity presentations tomorrow as well. And make sure that you get those times from the person that you know will have those times.
Thank you, Tanya.
All right. Everybody have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Rich. Bye, Benny.